For the first time, I'm trying to do a live stream without the help of either Alex McMurray or my friend Mike Mayu, who used to do another cup of coffee with me on my YouTube channel. And hopefully it's working for y'all. Welcome to 10 songs on the third Thursday of the month. Something I was thinking I'd do because I was going to open up by saying, I was going to do this because I used to play a lot on the road, and I miss my friends in the Northeast and my friends in Chicago and the Midwest, and they all know, the ones that know me well know that I never go up there in January. And I thought this would be a way to say hello to some of them if they're out there listening. And as it turns out, I got some requests today, which is awful nice, and we'll do that. But I'm going to start with this here song wrote with Chris Joseph actually wrote the original lyrics for it. He's got a book called Life is a Ride about his experiences as a survivor and inspiration. And he gave Alex McMurray and I some lyrics, and I worked on him some, and then Alex turned it into an opus, and he's one of my favorite songwriters. I was glad to have a chance to write with him. I wasn't so glad to have a chance to memorize all the lyrics he wrote at the tag end of this song, but it worked out okay for all of us. It's called Life is a Ride. It starts with a first breath, and then with a cry. You see, it ends with the last breath on the day you die. And in between, life is a ride. 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 It's confusing, mysterious, and sometimes not fair. Most of the time, we're not in charge of what's here or what's there. And in between, life is a ride. 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 Sometimes it goes too high, and sometimes way too fast. You hold on with all your might and wonder how long it might last. But who knows? Life is a ride. 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 No idea what the next turn will bring. We're all strapped in, but it don't change a thing. 'Cause after all, life is a ride. Life is a ride. Life is a ride. Life is a ride. It's real and you feel mixed up inside, and half the time you're just terrified. But the door is open just so wide. If you don't slip through, you will be denied of all the things that are on your side to help you navigate the tide. Like some folks who never even tried to live at home in their own right. Where you're born, you're here. You live, you die, and along the way you laugh and cry, and you try to think of a reason why, and sometimes you just can't believe you're right, and you try and you try and you try, but in the end you're just another guy who hangs his head to sigh and sigh, or laugh at yourself and your foolish jive, 'cause you work so hard but you come up shy, and there ain't no way to say goodbye. It's just a bucket of dirt and a shoe fly pie. Just a bucket of dirt and a shoe fly pie. Just a bucket of dirt and a shoe fly pie. Just a bucket of dirt and a shoe fly pie. My wife's trying to tell me something. I don't know what it was because she was doing charades. It was cute. I hope she was telling me it sounded good. I don't know what. But anyway, yeah. So I know some people are like, I can see on Facebook, people are either hitting that they like it or they're maybe saying something. Alex is really good. And I've seen people really good at answering while they play. And I'm not. Alex can do many, many things I can't do. So Mr. Tuesday Night will answer you when you go to his shows. I have some pre-requests that I do. When I posted about the show, I said, if you want to hear something, request in advance. And those who know my limitations did. So my friend Mark, a dear friend in Maryland, who has helped me with shows and helped me make records, and is actually helping me with my new record that Shamarr Allen's producing for me. He wanted to hear something on Jet Black and Jealous. Might as well do Jet Black and Jealous and talk about it. Like I've told the story, you might have heard it, and if not, here it goes. Like I was playing with Cowboy Mouth. It was 1992. It was early. We were opening up in Little 5 Points in Atlanta for a very popular band in Atlanta called Royal Crescent Mob. And yeah, but there's 2 cameras, baby. So we were opening up for Royal Crescent Mob, who it was 1992, so they were like the Chili Peppers, only different. Was what they told us when we asked. We said, "Hey, we're from New Orleans. We play original rock and roll." It's Cowboy Mouth, and they said, "Oh, we're like the Chili Peppers, but different." And I got to be honest, I didn't really like the Chili Peppers, and I really didn't like the bands that were like the Chili Peppers, but different. So we opened, and they had a packed house, and I was in just a shitty mood. I was in a shitty mood at this time in my life. I was going through a divorce. I was drinking too much Wild Turkey. I quit Wild Turkey since then for so many reasons, and this was one of them. I was sitting out in front of Little 5 Points, having one Wild Turkey too many, and in a worse mood. And this wonderful woman, Kathy Hendricks, who passed away last year, walked up to me and she said, "Hey, you just played a great rock set. What's wrong with you? Why are you in a bad mood?" And I was so drunk, I just looked up all surly and I said, "You want to know why I'm in a bad mood? I hate the fucking band I'm in. I hate the fucking band that's playing. I'm a great songwriter. Nobody fucking cares." And I just hang my drunk ass head down, and she sticks a card in my face. Says, "I care. Send me your stuff." So I sent her Jet Black and Jealous, and I sent her actually probably 19 songs, which is what I was sending back then. I didn't know you were supposed to send like 3 songs. I was, anyway. I sent her, and she called me back when people used to actually call each other on the telephone, and she said, "Hey man, I really like your stuff. I wanna put this out." And I said, "Great. How much of a budget do I get to do this?" She had a little record label, indie out of Atlanta called Little Fish Platters. I said, "How much budget do I get?" And she said, "Oh, no, I want to put this out." Well, the thing of it was, these were songs I had recorded when I was living in New York in the 80s. It was like 1987. I recorded this, or 88, in Roger Manning's 1-bedroom apartment, a studio apartment on Broom Street, the Broom Closet, he called it, on a 4-track Tascam cassette recorder. Now, I'm a huge fan of Bruce Springsteen's Nebraska. It was my favorite Springsteen record. And I wasn't aware of this until even like last year, it came to me that I always wished I could have made a Nebraska. Well, as it turns out, accidentally I did, because Kathy insisted. I said, "Look, this is made on a cassette recorder." She goes, "Well, I don't care. The guy singing these songs sounds like he doesn't think anybody's ever going to hear him. So you're never going to capture that again. I want this." And she goes, "Get an engineer that can get rid of the tape hiss." And so I got a guy, Richard Bird, and he said, "Yeah, man, I'll do that for you." And he got rid of the tape hiss. And we put out Jet Black and Jealous, and it was a little label. And Cowboy Mouth was just getting started. We hadn't even made a record yet, so I was before the band, and that didn't sit too well, Anyway, but it came out and it sold 3,000 copies. And man, I was so excited. I was like, "Oh my God, 3,000 people know my songs. This is amazing. I can't believe 3,000 people out there in the world are going to be hearing my songs." That to me was like as good as it gets, And years later, after the flood, when I needed a lift in life, a lawyer called me from Nashville, and he said, "Hi, my name's Peter Rosselli. I'm a lawyer from Nashville." And I said, "Uh-huh." And he said, "My client's a publisher in Nashville. He's a big fan of yours. He's a songwriter." I said, "Uh-huh." And he said, "Well, he really loves your song, Jet Black and Jealous." I said, "Uh-huh." And he said, "Well, he likes it so much, he wrote his own version, and he recorded a demo that nobody was supposed to hear." And I said, "Uh-huh." And he said, "I know, a lawyer from Nashville. Can't be good news." And I said, "Well, not in my experience, but please continue." And he said, "Well, somehow the head of the record label heard it, and they have a new band that just signed from Texas, and they would like to record this version of the song. Can we send you their version and see what you think?" And they sent it to me, and they made a lot of changes. They kept some of the basic theme and some of the basic melody, but this guy Scooter Caruso, he made some really cool changes and made it a real sort of jumped up country song. and it was the Eli Young band. And I called the guy, and he goes, "What did you think?" And I said, "Well, do I still get paid?" And he said, "Yeah, you get half." And I said, "I love this version. This is my favorite version of any song of mine I ever heard by anybody." And it made me, I mean, when it came out, it made me good money. And the good thing about it was, like, for a few months, it was in, it was in the charts. So, like, there was a few months there after Katrina where I was in the Billboard charts. I was making money. And if I squinted, the kid with the brown hair looked like me. So I was, young again, too. So it was a win-win-win for me. I don't know the Eli Young band. I really don't know their work beyond Jet Black and Jealous, but I'm sure they're just brilliant kids. And I wish them well, and I thank them from my heart. So anyway, this is that song. You read the entire works, the T.H.Y., and I never asked you any questions. And you looked just like a movie queen last night. So I didn't mind the extra weight in. But you beat my arms with your slashing tongue. It was no fun for me, in fact. It was black, jet black, and jealous. And you stalked me, slinky cat-like on the prowl. I shrug and pretend that I can't hear you. And you hold your breath until I ask you how. And then how yourself you shoot back in my face. You lick your fingers and you wipe your eyes and you smear the streaking stains that are black, jet black and jealous. There's a blind rage building you can't control. Suck in hot air, it comes out cold. You're building a cage that surrounds your soul and pulls you down, deeper down, 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 deep down. And people making love inside your head, where they have no life except for what you give them. Yeah, laughing, falling into bed, 'cause they're sickened by the scent of your suspicion. You cut yourself in the wee hours, make it don't bleed red instead. It's black, jet black and jealous. It's black, jet black and jealous. It's black, jet black and jealous. Thanks for the request, Mark. And this one was a request from both Mark, because he said anything off of Jet Black and Jealous, and Carolyn in Illinois, who wanted to hear a couple of songs. Very cool. Always dig when people, dig my stuff. That's why I wrote it. I had something inside that insisted on coming out. I had no choice in the matter. It was, if I could have been something that made money, I'd have done it. Because money's cool, but I had these things that wouldn't stop, these songs, and so I wrote them. I always like when people like them. So this one, I was going through that divorce I mentioned earlier from my first ex-wife, and I had taken a job working on movies. Movies had been my refuge, man. And whenever I couldn't play music, I'd go to movies. I just love movies. I think they're magic. I think they're the last magic left on earth, I love them so much. I watch classic films all the time. Drives my wife crazy. She doesn't know how I can watch the same movie over and over again. But I love them. And so working on them was just a thrill for me. And it still is, really. If I occasionally get a job as a driver or something, or, speaking a few lines on Your Honor, it's just great fun to watch those great actors at work. But so I was working, I got a job as a PA on the very first television show on the Fox network. It was called Against the Law. I think it lasted 3.5 episodes. I think it actually went dark in the middle of the 4th episode. The screen went black, and they said, "Sorry, we're going to have something called The Simpsons. Tune back in." But anyway, so I moved to Boston, and it was great fun to live in Boston, for a while. And, but on the drive up, it was harrowing. It was a harrowing drive up. It was harrowing. It was. The company was really cheap. It's this wonderful, charismatic fellow named Daniel Lupi, who was production manager, now works with Spielberg. And he hired me and my friend Dickie Wentz to drive an equipment van from Atlanta. We would drop our car off, Dickie's car off. I didn't have a car. I was 26 years old. I didn't have anything. And we'd drop his car off in Atlanta and drive a camera truck up from Atlanta because New Orleans had no infrastructure for movies. And they were going to save money by not renting out of New York. Well, we get this camera truck out of Atlanta, and we find out the reason they're going to save money is it's a piece of shit. It's breaking down on us the whole way up the East Coast. Stop in North Carolina, the thing's belching fumes. We get as far as Virginia at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and we're pulling up to, we're such idiots. It's not a big truck, it's like a camera truck. It's like a delivery truck. And we're pulling off at a way station, like we're supposed to go to a way station like an 18. We should have, it was me. I was an idiot. I didn't have a driver's license. I was driving the truck. My friend Dickie was asleep, and the thing was stuck in gear. That was a problem that had been developing the whole way up the East Coast. So I'm hitting them. There's a cop there with a flashlight shining in all the drivers' faces, and I can't get this truck to slow down. Like, Dickie, wake up, wake up, wake up. And right as we get to the cop, the truck jerks to a stop because I can't get out of gear. And the cop shines a light in my face, and he goes, "Is there a problem here, son?" And I'm punching the shit. I'm like, "No, sir, no problem here at all." And so we get out of there, we pull over for the night, and next day, like, we got to stop. By this time, we've made it to Glen Burnie, Maryland. And the thing, we go to pull off to get gas, and there's an 18-wheeler bearing down on a 2-lane highway towards the exit. We can't stop again. And so Dickie just lets it, he throws, his hands off the gas, and we just come to a stop because we're in gear. And the truck goes whizzing by, and we're pissing ourselves in fear. And so we're like, we got to find a Mack truck dealer. We go and we find one not far away, half a mile or something, and strip the gears or whatever it was. And how long is it going to take? It's going to take a few hours. Well, is there any place around here that we can get a sandwich and go, beer maybe, something, kill some time? And he goes, yeah, it's a bowl 3 blocks away. So it's middle of the afternoon on a weekday. And we go to this bowling alley, and we walk in, and the light floods in behind us. It's like a scene from an old Western. The whole place stops. And all it is like one young girl behind the counter and a couple of women bowling and one old woman behind the counter. And they all just stop, and they freeze when they see us. And I walk up to the counter. I was like, wow, Dickie, they don't get a lot of strangers here, man. I walk up to the counter. I go, hey, can we have some pool balls? And a young chick hands them to me, and she's shaking. She goes, yeah, here. And I was like, wow, they really don't see strangers here. So we go over and start shooting pool. And like, not even 5 minutes into the game, 6 state troopers come in the front of the bowling alley, and they head straight for us. Now I was kind of a punk. I was from the Irish Channel. I had a chip on my shoulders the size of Louisiana, and these cops come towards me. And I go, hey, man, is there a problem here? Because I think they called on us because we're strangers, And the guy goes, yeah, there's a problem. He tells my friend Dickie, you in that room, you over here. So they separate us, and they start questioning me. And they go, what's your name? And I go, why? And he goes, tell me your name. I said, Paul Sanchez. He goes, let me see your license. I give him the license. He goes, where are you from? I said, Louisiana. He says, why does your license say Connecticut? I said, if you'll read further, officer, it says Connecticut Avenue, Kenner, Louisiana. Why? And he goes, I'll tell you why, tough guy. Because a state trooper was just killed, and you fit the description of the guy who did it. And I just threw up my hands. I'm like, hey, man, I'm sorry. I was in North Carolina that night. We didn't do it. Don't know anything about it. Meanwhile, look in the next room, my friend Dickie, who had been a star athlete, a Jesuit at Tulane. He had been drafted by the White Sox. He hasn't been in trouble with the law in his life. He's been the golden boy. And he's got his hands running through his long hair, and he's sweating, and I can hear him saying things like, he's a musician. He wouldn't hurt a fly. His brother's the president of the Firemen's Union in New Orleans. Call him. He'll vouch for us. So finally, they determined the receipts are valid, and we were nowhere near where the cop was killed in Virginia. And so they're going to let us go, but they say, hey, we got to hold you for the lead investigator. He wants to question. And this guy comes in a suit, and he's real terse, and he's rude and asking me all the same questions. By this time, I'm over it. And out of the blue, he goes, let me see your hands. And I'm just over it. Was the guy missing fingers or something? What? He goes, just let me see your hands, tough guy. Tough guy must have been like a Maryland expression in the 80s. He grabs my hands, and he throws them over, and he throws them down, and he spins on his heels, and he leaves. No apologies, no sorry or anything, And so they let us go. And we stayed. I have a friend who's a great fiction writer, John Gregory Brown. written some wonderful books based in New Orleans and stuff. He lives up in Virginia, teaches at Sweetbriar College with his wife. And we were going to stay with him, right? So we didn't want to show up empty-handed. We're staying with a friend. We're in our 20s. And so we stopped at like whatever their National Canal Villery was in Maryland to get some beer and some munchies and stuff. And we're in line, and I see everybody like in the other lines looking at me the same way in the bowling alley did. They're all nervous and doing double takes and pointing. And I glance over at the newspaper, and there's a police composite sketch of a guy with curly hair, which I had a big old almost fro back then. And he was unshaved, and I was unshaved. And, you know, that was a striking resemblance. I could see why I was drawing the attention. I immediately reached for some razors and shaving cream, and we went on our way without getting arrested for murder again. Made it to Boston. By this time, I'm utterly fried. And my brother, Johnny, was living in Back Bay at the time, and I was going to be staying with him. And so as I pull up, there's no cell phones or anything back then. 1992, you know, so pull up and he's waiting for me on the sidewalk and give him a hug. And he goes, "Hey, man, I didn't want to tell you over the phone when we talked last week, but I fell in love and we moved in. And listen, there's nothing inside, but you can have the key. The rent's paid for through the month." And I was like, "Well, okay, you know, whatever. Good luck and thanks for the place." And me and Dickie went and bought a futon each, and we are going to flop in this empty apartment in Back Bay. And then he got a place to stay, and I'm there by myself. I didn't care, man. If you ever know anybody that works on movies, it's like, you know, especially if you're just a PA, it's 16, 18-hour days sometimes. And really, I would just come home, get a piece of pizza and a beer and fall asleep and wake up and do it all again. So I was so poor, I couldn't afford, like, Discmans had come out or whatever. I had a receiver I brought up from New Orleans, and I bought a pair of headphones to plug in. And I would go to sleep listening to the music at night, you know, so tired. And one night I woke up and I heard voices in my place in Back Bay, and I just shot up in bed, you know. I thought, "Oh man, you know, who's out there stealing, you know, my nothing?" Because I didn't have anything. There was no furniture. But I did have a baseball bat that I kept in the apartment, a half a Louisville Slugger. And I thought, well, let me go out there and, you know, get after who's stealing my nothing. And I stalk out into the living room, and I notice the voices are getting, you know, softer. And I think, "Oh, fuck, man, he got behind me somehow. Fucking hell, I got to get back to the bedroom, man. That's the only thing I got in the world in there, you know." So I run back to the bedroom with my bat, and I'm looking around, and suddenly I realized the headphones had fallen off in the night, and the voices I were hearing were the music I'd been listening to soothe me to go to sleep. And since I was terrified and awake, I thought I'd write a song. When I woke up, I heard a voice, and I froze in my bed. When I woke up, I was divorced. How did you get back into my head? No, 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 it was the radio. You're gone and I don't even think of you, my little blue one. I don't even think of you, my little blue one. I was sleeping and had a dream that I was writing to you. It was creepy, my dreamy dream. You read my letters, remembered I loved you. No, 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 you don't love me anymore. You're gone and I don't even think of you, my little blue one. I don't even think of you, my little blue one. I don't even think of you reading your paper each morning. I don't even think of you sipping your coffee and yawning. I don't even think of your hands pulling air back off your pretty face. I don't even think of you walking away as I'm walking around this empty, empty place. I remember and try to forget with a bottle of wine. I remember and try to forget that the ring you're not wearing is mine. No, 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 you don't wear it anymore. You're gone and I don't even think of you, my little blue one. I don't even think of you, my little blue one. I don't even think of you, my little blue one. I don't even think of you, my little blue one. All right. Carolyn also asked for, Carolyn in Illinois asked for the song Can't Let Go. This was the early days of Cowboy Mouth. And we were pretty popular in Texas and in Lafayette. I don't remember which we were driving home from, but we were on the spillway. Most of the spillways over water, and the cypress trees can grow in the water. They're part in the swamp, and the roots come up out of the water. And the rhythm of the spillway was like, it's like a certain little pattern. It just kept going over and over. And I was sitting there thumping, watching these roots go by. And they looked like, tombstones, maybe, like it was a big cemetery for my love life. I can see that I'm standing where the circle ends, and it seems I'm right back where I started. I keep thinking things will be simple again, but it's complicated where my heart can't let go. No, I can't let go. There's no more we or us, I know, but I can't let go. Riding on the highway with the summer heat, my maps are out, my course is charted. I think all the time, but feel dumber, you see, 'cause it's complicated where my heart is. I can't let go. No, I can't let go. There's no more we or us, I know, but I can't let go. Money is not the issue, 'cause my whole life I've been poor. I've cried through all my tissue, and winter is coming, so I better buy more. The cypress trunks on the spillway rise like a graveyard that the swamp has started. It was so clear when we said goodbye, but it's complicated where my heart is. I can't let go. No, I can't let go. There's no more we or us, I know, but I can't let go. No, I can't let go. There's no more we or us, I know, but I can't let go. Well, I said this thing was going to go till 8. I'm telling the stories are so long-winded, it might go longer. I don't know, or else I'll have to cut it short. 8 songs for Third Thursday. This one here I wrote with my friend Coleman Decay out in Los Angeles, and he's one of the craziest characters I've met in a lifetime of meeting crazy characters. I love him. I love him almost like a brother, because I sure do yell at him like a brother sometimes. He drives me so crazy. But I met him, it was after Katrina. I was living above Fifi Mahoney's wig shop, rented an apartment there because lost my place in gentility. And it was cool living above the wig shop, but it was weird because I had to go through the wig shop to get to the apartment. And that was, like bizarre enough in the daytime, but when the shop was closed at night, it was a little scary, like there's all these heads with hair. And anyway, I'm hanging out on the balcony of this place, and my friend Vance DeGeneres lives out in Los Angeles. And he says, "Hey, man, I got some friends in town. They work with Penn and Teller, and they, one of them's a musician. And I told him he should meet you." I said, "Oh, great, have the guy call me." And like half hour later, my phone rings, and the guy says, "Hey, I'm Gary Stockdale. I'm Vance DeGeneres' friend." He says, "Where are you?" I said, "What are you wearing?" He says, "I'm at the CC's." And I said, "What are you wearing?" He says, "I'm wearing a hat and this colored shirt, whatever. And I go, well, look up over your right shoulder. And I was standing on the balcony at Fifi Mahoney's and him up with his friend Coleman and another fella. And turns out Coleman was staying down the street at the big gray building on Royal Street, the haunted building that Nicolas Cage owned for a little while. And he was staying there. And so he was in the neighborhood and he started staying by and we got to be friendly. And one day he said, I'm a writer out in Los Angeles. I've written a screenplay, but I've never written a song. I really love music. I said, well, let's try. Let's compare New Orleans and see what we come up with. And he told me he'd been coming to New Orleans for 20 years for jazz fests, and we started trading jazz fest stories. And one of his favorite was he had met a blonde-haired woman who said that she was a witch, and fed him magic mushrooms and took him back to her place in the quarter. And at the ultimate moment of knowing each other, he swears lightning hit a tree outside the window and split it in half. I swear it was the magic mushrooms. He swears it's because she was a witch. At any rate, my story involved a dive bar near the river with an angry dwarf in a movie I had worked on. And we sort of combined the two stories into a song called Exit to Mystery Street for all you jazz festers. Fell into a dive bar down by the wharf on pianos Rex of a pitcher and dwarf, singing a sad song about love gone wrong between a woman and a man who came up to her thong. It was 90 degrees and I had goosebumps all over me. Is this the land of the undead or an antisocial deep freeze? Searching for salvation in a nation that don't respect location. Exit to Mystery Street. Or have I been misled? Exit to Mystery Street. Was it something I ate or something I said? There's a beautiful blonde, a handful of shrooms, sparks flying from her hair, smoke pouring from her broom. I said, which are you? Which are a wonder? She kissed me so hard that my heart thundered. Then she took me back to what she called home. It was a 4-poster bed and a lightning storm. We made love a little, but that ditto put me right in the middle. Exit to Mystery Street. I didn't catch your name. Exit to Mystery Street. Forget the blame, the shame is the same. And she wasn't fooling around, and I wasn't playing no game. And we went at each other so hard, that tree in the yard split in half when we. Woke up in the morning with an aching head. I was lying on the floor, no more 4-poster bed. So I was naked, wearing just my watch, with a wilted banana leaf covering my crotch. Brain started snapping, saying none of it had happened. But that broomstick in the corner just keeps looking at me, laughing. Exit to Mystery Street. Or have I been misled? Exit to Mystery Street. Was it something I ate or something I said? Oh, Mystery Street. Exit to Mystery Street. We all gonna have to exit to Mystery Street. I read it, and that's what the sign Yeah. Okay. The Facebook thing's weird. I mean, I can see YouTube people talking. I don't know what they're saying. It's real small. Facebook, I actually saw a guy say, please do his request. It's coming because you requested in advance. And then somebody said something about my Venmo Inmo. Can you not see it? It's Venmo at Paul Sanchez Music. I don't know. Maybe it's backwards or something. I don't know how that stuff works. I'm doing the best I can. I'm surprised it's all functioning, to be honest. I mean, I really don't know anything. Like, maybe you talked me through this and I guess the rest. Anyway, my friend Steve Brennan, I met on that show in Boston. I met friends up there I've had for my whole life, man. Boston people, they're like New Orleans people, but they want to fight more. They're real earthy and blue collar, and they love music and good food and good times. Alan Breton loved New Orleans so much. He's up from up there, and he wound up coming down and work on movies, and he's made himself home here for 30 years. It's not too dissimilar, although it's way dissimilar. Anyway, I met Stevie, and it was great. He was a little younger than me, probably about 10 years younger than me, and he was working on the TV show, and he and some of the other young fellas, and Alan, who's more close to my age, one night after working for a couple of weeks, like, come on, Paulie, we got to take you out to the bars in Boston and show you around. So we went to a bar in Cambridge, Harvard, as they say. And I don't know, some bar we had to go downstairs for, probably long gone. And we're drinking. It was pretty cool, whatever. We were all young enough that being near college people was comfortable. And then they said, oh, we got to get out of here, Paul. We got to go to whatever, I don't know, wherever we were going. So I did what you do in New Orleans, right? When somebody says we're leaving this bar to go to another bar in New Orleans, you get a beer to take with you, right? That's what you do. You get me one for the road. So I got a beer. And then I went to the door, and the bouncer says to me, you can't leave with that drink. And I said, what do you mean I can't leave with this drink? I bought this drink for the sole purpose of leaving with it. That's why I bought it. It's a to-go drink. And he goes, well, you can't leave with it. And I was like, what do you mean I can't leave? Just give me a go cup, man. What's the problem? And he goes, a what? Look, I don't know what your problem is, but you can't leave with that drink. And I said, wait a minute. You mean to tell me if I go across the street to McDonald's, I get me a Coke, pour it out, come in with the empty cup. I can't pour my beer in here and leave with it. And he goes, no, where are you from? I said, I'm from New Orleans. He goes, oh, okay. No, you can't leave with it, man. You got to finish your beer. So that was my intro to Boston, but I love those people. We had too many wild stories to tell. But Steve was a surfer, and he loved music. So our bond was the songwriters that we both loved, Johnny Cash and Lyle Lovett and John Hyatt and John Prine. And I'd play those songs, and we'd hang out after work, all the people that worked on the movie, and I'd play those kind of songs, and we'd drink beer, and it was great fun. And then he was always trying to get me to go surfing with him. And I never wanted to confess to him. It was like, maybe I never did, that I actually didn't know how to swim. Maybe it was like last year I confessed that to him. And so I always make excuses why I can't make it down to the Cape to meet him. We had the weekend off, but really I was terrified of the water. I grew up in the Irish Channel and didn't have any reason to learn how to swim because there was nothing but concrete and bricks around me. But we stayed friends, and he's not just an adventurer. He surfed all over the world and done movies all over the world. But he was a great writer and the soul of a poet, like a lot of Irish guys are. And he was in New Orleans with some friends and younger than me, and they were doing the bachelor party thing they couldn't hang. And I said, you go do what you got to do. In the middle of the night, I get this beautiful text from him saying, Paulie, I'm drunk. A message, I'm drunk, but I sent you some lyrics. So I went and checked my email, and he had sent me these words. And I thought, what would Chris Christopherson do with these lyrics if somebody had given them to him? So this one's for Chris and Steve Brennan. I'm a drunk. I'm a clown. I'm stumbling around this town. I'm looking for you, but you're not around. Yeah, you're nowhere to be found. You're nowhere to be found. I'm a hero. I'm a thief. I'm trying to find relief. I'm looking for you in sad disbelief that you're nowhere I can reach. You're nowhere I can reach. Come ride with me, come ride with me. We'll take the road that hugs the sea like outlaws in an old movie, like it used to be when it was you and me. I'm a fool, I'm a fake, I'm trying to hit the brake. I'm looking for you, but for my own sake, it really takes the cake that you know where I can make. Come ride with me, come ride with me on a 67 Hellcat dream, like coyotes running wild and free, like it used to be when it was you and me. Drunk, I'm a clown, I'm stumbling around this town. I can't recall now how it all went down, but you're nowhere to be found. You're nowhere to be found. It's to you, Stevie. Well, this one is happy birthday out in Arizona to Yvonne from Mark. And he was so excited about getting you this song that he was hitting me on Facebook Live, even though I said, I can't read the stuff. I mean, some of it, once in a while, I'll glance and I'll see somebody said something. I saw my friend Leanne Binder poked her head in earlier. And Leanne's a wonderful singer from Ohio that I made friends with. And she's come down here and she's recorded up in Nashville with my friend Lee Turner, who plays with Darius Rucker. And when I first had girls, she's one of the first people I called and gave me some sweet advice. So thanks for stopping by, Leanne. I know you're still not out there, but anyway, let's see. Yeah, the birthday song. So this one, I did a slight lyric change for you, Mark. Does Mark memorabilia? He wanted to hear this for Yvonne for her birthday. Happy birthday, baby. He don't care who knows. He loves you from your head to your toes. He's gonna love you for the rest of his life. He don't care who sees. He'd be happy to get on his knees and say he'll love you for the rest of his life. If silence is gold, then baby, I'm a poor, poor man. But he's having and holding the best that he can. Once again, he don't care who believes. He loves you and he knows you can see he's gonna love you for the rest of his life. He swears he's gonna love you for the rest of his life. Yes, he's gonna love you for the rest of his life. Happy birthday, baby. Let's see. And in Tennessee, how about that? Wanted to hear this song. My wife Allison and I, we dated when we were 19. She wanted to have kids, and I wanted to see the world with my songs. We went our separate ways, married other people. She had 2 boys who are grown men now. I saw the world with my songs. 36 years later, we ran into each other, both divorced, and that love was still there. So we got together, and first Mardi Gras, she said, my niece is coming from North Carolina. She has cancer here. So, she's really sweet. She's 26 and, try not to be too obvious, whatever it was. And so after the party, I said, I don't guess I got to meet your niece because I didn't see anybody who looked, anything other than like they were having a ball. And she said, no, she was the one in the purple wig. I said, my God, that girl was just so life embracing. She was beautiful, wonderful. So I befriended her on Facebook. And every day from her was a post celebrating a friend who had a baby, or a friend who had gotten married, or a walk in the woods with her lover. It was incredible. her very last Facebook post, when she was too weak to even get to a computer, her mother told me she had to crawl to it, was "My cup overflows with love and blessings." So I went to North Carolina with my wife for the funeral, and her friends talked about her spirit, which she'd been to Rikikesh in India and studied meditation, and such an adventurer. She loved to sing out loud in public just to embarrass her friends. Just a fun person who loved living, and she did. And like so many folks that lose somebody to cancer, of course, they ask everybody to live like Laura. Could be just a dream that ends too soon, or when I play a sad, familiar tune that maybe makes me stop and catch my breath. When I want to run, I know to sit. Instead of trying to rush, I wait a bit and then remember what I can't forget. I want to live like Laura, love like Laura. I want to learn to rise above like Laura. I want to see my life in a different way. I want to laugh like Laura, smile like Laura, travel 10,000 miles like Laura. I want to be in love with living every day. Like bursting into song when I'm in a crowd, living my life big and right out loud. Like looking into the eyes of the likes of me. And for a moment, making it all right, reminding me to try and be the light. I'll keep wearing her heart on my sleeve. I want to live like Laura, love like Laura. I want to learn to rise above like Laura. I want to see my life in a different way. I want to laugh, Laura, smile like Laura, travel 10,000 miles like Laura. I want to be in love with living every day. Could be just a dream that ends too soon, when I play a sad, familiar tune that maybe makes me stop and catch my breath. I want to live like Laura, love like Laura. I want to learn to rise above like Laura. I want to see my life in a different way. I want to laugh like Laura, smile like Laura, travel 10,000 miles like Laura. I want to be in love with living every day. Yeah, I want to live. That's right, I want to love. Yeah, I want to live. And I want to love. La 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 Laura. La 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 Laura. My cup overflows. My cup overflows with love and blessing. La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 Laura. I got two more. Did I make it under an hour? Hey, yeah, well, good. I don't want to, keep you all too long. It's nice that people tuned in. You never know with these things. I never tried one, and I haven't really much in the last few years because of the voice thing. So it's just nice that a few folks I'll find out later how many, but folks have tuned in. That's sweet. Thank you all. This one here is called "Waiting to Dance with a Partner." When Allison and I got together, I knew she loved me, really does. We dance around her place to if something comes on that she likes, she'll just get up and drag me and we'll dance. But when we first got together, I was practicing for a show, and I had my eyes closed singing, and I opened my eyes, and she was dancing with a glass of wine in her hand with her eyes closed to my singing, and it was just lovely. And the song popped into my head, "Waiting to Dance with a Partner." If love's an illusion that ends in the end, for me that would still be enough. If for a short time in my heart and my mind I believed in hope, faith, heartbreak, and such. It may be true some love turns to blues, but true love will always be right there inside with no place to hide. I'll open my eyes and I'll see someone waiting to dance with a partner. It's been too many nights on her own, eyes closed so she'd see somebody like me who's been dancing too many years on his own. I've been dancing too many years all alone. Well, it could be the wine, the talk of old times, but this feels familiar to me. Like faith didn't die and love never lied, like waking up into an innocent dream. Now I won't ask questions or follow directions from anything else but my heart. Music is playing, we're already swaying, picking up where love left us off. She's been waiting to dance with a partner. It's been too many nights on her own, eyes closed so she'd see somebody like me. He's been dancing too many years on his own. I've been dancing too many years all alone. Yesterday's something I can't wait to leave. Tomorrow keeps hiding from me. But right here today, what I'm here to say is I'm ready to take a chance and believe someone's waiting to dance with a partner. It's been too many nights on her own, eyes closed so she'd see somebody like me who's been dancing too many years on his own. I've been dancing too many years all alone. All right. Well, thank y'all for tuning in. I saw some friends' names go by, and that's real cool. I can't wait to check out the messages later. And I had a great time, to be honest. I mean, really, for me, that was most of my career. The best parts of it was sitting around with friends playing guitar, before and after the shows. Griff and I used to do a thing called the Lonesome Traveler. We'd play somebody's living room for 90 minutes before a Cowboy Mouth show in whatever town we were in. And sometimes it was the most fun we had all night. We liked doing it so much. Anyway, so thanks for stopping in. The next one's going to be February 20th. And it's going to be a 2 o'clock matinee show next third Thursday because it's Mardi Gras and things are afoot. So, I'm going to get it done early, make sure I get it done. And I won't be closing with this every week because most of you have seen me for the last 30 years. I've seen me do this song. But I figured it's only right that I close the first show with it. Foot of Canal Street, written with my very dear friend and inspiration, John Boutte. Another guy who gave me advice once having my voice troubles. I asked him, John, you got any advice? And he smiled that beautiful smile and he said, baby, singing is mostly about relaxing. And he's right in the long run. And so we had gotten to be friends back in 98. And it was just a fit. We had met at a backyard party in the French Quarter. And we were singing, a bunch of people jamming. And he sang high and I sang low. And my whole life, I love those singers because I can sing harmonies with them. And we started doing that. And we were hanging out one day at my place on Bienville near the cemeteries, and at the time he was smoking cigarettes, and we were going to Texaco near the cemeteries, St. Patrick, to get some cigarettes, and we were walking, talking about our lives together, know each other, we really just met and hung out a couple times. This is the first time we really had an afternoon. Turns out that he was raised by a bunch of sisters, and I was raised by a bunch of sisters, and our fathers had died, and we both were Catholic and raised in that thing. So we had a lot of similarities, but we were raised in the 60s, and so there were a lot of differences. We realized we couldn't have ridden on the same part of the bus together when we were kids. That was one thing because of segregation. So we're comparing the differences and the similarities in our lives as we walked down Canal Street near the cemeteries, and he pointed to one. He said, "Baby, I was buried there." I said, "Man, that's one more thing you got in common. My daddy's buried across the street." He smiled. He said, "You know what, baby? Black or white, we all gonna meet the foot of Canal Street." I said, "Well, that's a natural fact. We got to go back and write a song." And I found out later that wasn't really something he did. He hadn't written a song in 10 years or something. So, but he agreed, and we went back. We started talking about life in New Orleans, and I said to him, "Man, I'd love this if it could be like something we played at somebody's second line funeral." I didn't have that growing up in the Irish Channel. We didn't have second lines really. So what was it like growing up in Treme with second line funerals coming through? It looks, on the outside looking in, it looks so beautiful, so holy, so spiritual, He smiled at me. He said, "Well, baby, it's beautiful and all, but most of the bitches want what the other bitches gonna be wearing." I said, "All right." And he said, "The men are carrying a flask in their hip pocket. We band to kick it so they can kick it too." I said, "Man, we got to put that in the song." I said, "It'll be like the coolest thing could happen at somebody's funeral." He said, "Well, all jazz guys call Louis Armstrong Pops." And he said, "Well, baby, if Pops was still alive and he could blow walk on at your funeral, you'd think he was already in heaven." So I said, "Man, that's great. That's it. That's the song right there." So we stuck a melody on his beautiful ideas, and we got this song. And even though you're not here with me, I tell everybody when I play it, there's somebody in your life that helped you be the person that's been enjoying the show tonight, and they can't be sitting next to you anymore to enjoy it. But if you sing along on Foot of Canal, those words, sing from the heart, then they'll be with you right there in your heart, which is where they'll live for the rest of your life. So, yes, indeed. Thanks again for tuning in. Venmo is Paul Sanchez Music. And next third Thursday is February 20th at 2 p.m. Hope I see some friends again. Don't waste your time being angry when a moment's better with a smile. And if you feel your time's been wasted here for a while. And I was standing at the bus stop. I was just across from Krause. I was waiting for the driver to take me to my heavenly house. I'll see you there at the foot of Canal Street. What will you wear at the foot of Canal? What will the band be playing at the foot of Canal? Or the people be singing at the foot of Canal? Does your father lie? Yeah. Does your mother pray? Yeah. I want to put on my golden crown at the foot of Canal Street. And when the levee banks have overflowed and the streetcar has seen its day, when all is gone, the plantations, hallelujah, the Treme and the Vucare, I'll be swinging to that music. I'll be up on higher ground where Pops is blowing walk on. Up with Gabriel, make a sacred sound. I'll see you there at the foot of Canal Street. What will you wear at the foot of Canal? What will the band be playing at the foot of Canal? What will the people be saying at the foot of Canal? Does your father lie? There. Does your mother pray? Yeah. I want to put on my golden crown at the foot of Canal Street. So don't waste your time being angry And a moment's much better with a smile. And if you feel your time's been wasted here for a while, I was standing at the bus stop. I was just across from Krause, and I was waiting for the driver to take me to my heavenly. I'll see you there at the foot of Canal Street. What will you wear at the foot of Canal? Will the band be playing at the foot of Canal? Will the people be saying at the foot of Canal Street? Does your father lie there? Does your mother pray? Yeah. I want to put on my golden crown. I want to lay my burden down. I'll be moving up to high ground at the foot of Canal Street. At the foot of Canal Street. Thanks again, y'all. Hope you had fun. I did. I really did. It was great fun.